Good morning, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 8:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, June 13th, 2021. This is not financial advice. This video is intended for educational purposes only. There's a Twitter link below in the description. If you'd like, click on that and you'll get my updates in between these videos. I do the videos once a day. And if you'd like to click subscribe button, because they don't come out exactly at the same time every day, you'll be notified when they do. Let's go to the graph. Currently allocated at 81 cents, trading around 25% lower than my overall cost basis. So that's okay. Why? Because I am in this for the long term. I'm not day trading this, folks. If you're thinking of day trading, you do you. This is how I trade. I stick around and I wait. I'm buckled in. I'm strapped in. Whatever you want to call it, but I'm in it for the long term. However, that's not to say that there may be excruciating points where I'm like, all right, I know I have a very high degree of certainty that it might go down. In those specific cases, I may de-risk a little bit and try to get it at a different entry point. Right now, I don't see anything particularly compelling that is telling me that this thing is going down per se. And there's a couple of indicators why, and I'm going to go through that now. Now, while right now it looks fairly bearish on this chart, this is the graph US dollar chart. It doesn't look perfect, and I've already mentioned to everyone yesterday that if it does go down, I would expect it to go down to the 51-cent range. It's probably around where this is consolidated in the past. It's not to say that it will. It's just to say that it could. Now, let's move over to the two components that drive the graph to US dollar, which is the Bitcoin benchmark and the graph's strength relative to Bitcoin, which is BTC USD for the benchmark and GRTBTC for the graph's relative strength to Bitcoin. So here's the benchmark. We are back up. It's close to 36,000. Last night we bounced off that trend line that I always get, antsy about, and we stayed above it. So that's important. This thing here you might want to wipe it off, but I'm keeping it here because I think, we need to see every aspect of price action regardless. Although I would say this may be an aberration, as well as these points here. Moving forward into the relative strength of the graph, we are below this line. Now, I'm not a fan of what this looks like right here, because, again, it's below a resistance area that we had plotted, and it's kind of like, it's hard to say exactly. The resistance could be a little lower, but let me just explain why I actually feel slightly bullish on this. We're going to go through that right now. Hold on. Let me just pull up my other one here, which is this. This looks kind of, this could be potentially bullish. Let's see what happens here. This would be pivotal if we can get over this resistance line. This is a downward broadening wedge. You hear me talk about it relentlessly. And yes, it is a bullish pattern, generally speaking, assuming we get over this line at some point. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on it on one side, and then a few other times on the other side. So, if this breaks past here, we could go back up to 1904. That's a 20% or so measured move to the upside. So let's see how this one plays out. We're going to have to keep our eyes on this one relentlessly, and I'll tweet out as I see things changing on this one way or the other. So let's just go into kind of the macro news really quickly. Jack Dorsey, head of Square and Twitter, hinting at Twitter Lightning Network. So that's pretty impressive. He's basically saying that it's just a matter of time in which this would happen. So effectively, people are already, head CEOs are thinking about how are they going to work with Bitcoin in the future. They know this is coming. It's clear. So, let's look into other news. There was a speedy trial, they call it, which is a way in which Bitcoin can vote on these blocks. So basically, there is a Taproot upgrade, which is coming out by the end of the year. What we're going to find is a faster, leaner Bitcoin that can transact. So in the transactional space, although I look at Bitcoin more as digital gold, not necessarily as something you're trading around, buying things and transacting with. I consider it more like gold, where you trade it, but you don't really transact with it in the way that some of the folks in Ethereum would use it for, or Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is now being, touted as something for transactions, and cleanly so. Like, it's clear as day. We have El Salvador talking about it, using the Lightning Network. Now we're talking about this Taproot upgrade that will actually make the underlying layer of Bitcoin even faster, leaner, more efficient, more energy efficient. Also expanding the capabilities of the foundational, multi-digital signatures in order to complete a transaction on these updated on the updated core platform. So I think that there's going to be a heap of adoption here on Bitcoin as a transaction layer. I think it will just be a matter of time. We have to see this thing actually roll out sometime at the end of the year, and then we're going to obviously track this between now and Kingdom Come. Anyway, I'm out. Have a good weekend, everyone.